very easy to be act upon. One question for you is, do you create or thinking about creating frameworks for children? How the children can teach the parents? Because a lot of me, I learn from my child, but then how can she think of the way to be in my shoes and coach me a little bit to be more in sync with this society, with what her mind is. I think some frameworks to empower the children to teach parents will be great.
That's a wonderful idea. We're going to do that. And then I hadn't thought of it before, but what a lovely idea. We also, we focused on parents because we feel like the poor students are just doing the best they can and they get a lot of messages, so I think a lot of it is about parents. But if we can, your child is lucky because you're already in that point of view. And so if you're receptive to listening to her, I bet she has a lot to teach you. But I think it's a great idea to think about. If some of you've heard of the Conversation Project, it was featured on NPR. This is a way for families to talk about end-of-life care. We never talk about, do we want to be resuscitated, et cetera. So anyway, some group of people just said, this is a hard conversation. We're going to create like a packet so that you sit down and talk to your loved ones before they're in the hospital about what do they want. We could create a packet, a conversation project for Asian families around what are the emotional needs of the kids. I think it's a great idea. And last question.
Thank you for your presentation. I really love we're as diverse as we are, because Asian Americans is really diverse in terms of language. It's also socioeconomic status. It's not just all of us are meeting the model minority myth. And I'm a social worker by trade, and we like to look at society, look at the big pictures, right? There is the parents who needs to learn how to adapt to their children, adapt to the culture. There's also society where there's model minority myth, and there's also racial issues, because a lot of the bullying stories we've heard in the previous session, it's a lot of those bullying are race-driven. I don't think we talk enough about race in our community, so I'm wondering, what do you guys do in your center to address the bigger pictures issues?
Think about that for a second. Because it's a very important question. I think, so part of it is the message that we give for each community is tailored. And so we have to, I think, meet each community at where they're at, and that's obviously a principle for mental health. And so we've found that for sort of newer immigrants, they may be aware of the racism, but that's not in the sort of hierarchy of needs what they feel like they can sort of address. So if you ask someone like my father, he would probably not, he would not talk a lot about racism, because for him the first priority was kind of establishing the roots in the society. And then, as Paul said, someone like me who was born here, and I thought a lot about racism because I felt like I was born here, I'm American, I should be treated like one that I wasn't. And so I think it depends on where each family is in their acculturation immigration journey, and then you sort of, but I do think there is a role for raising awareness and understanding, like with the whole Peter Liang case in New York City, and so I love it when there are opportunities to bring that in, but it depends. I think we're sort of careful about exactly when to bring that conversation in. But for instance, we did a training at Harvard Graduate School of Education where we sort of opened it to the students, and one of them was a Korean international student who said, we were driving through Harvard Square and this car of Caucasian guys yelled out, "Go back to China," and he wasn't even from China. So I think this is very important, and it causes psychological distress. It's one of many things, I think, that causes distress. So it's important, and there's all these other things too. How do you fit it all in, I think, is our challenge. But thanks for the comment. And maybe we can talk more about it during the Q&A, if other folks experienced it. So this will be the last one then, so we can move to the next part.
Thank you for coming. And I just had one question. I was working with a 15-year-old Chinese student, and her parents are overseas. She's here. And she expressed to me, I really like the idea of understanding what the children's emotional needs are. She expressed to me that she knew what she was supposed to do in China, but she's here and she doesn't understand what she's supposed to do. So I think what I was exploring with her was trying to understand where she is and her family is in the immigration process, and discovering that pathway to success with the child depending on where their family is to help her. So, thank you.
Thank you. This is an international student or an Asian American student?
International student, but she's here in the United States.
Right. So we're actually working on developing, for this very reason, a series of orientations for high schools. We're finding there's a lot of Chinese families who are sending their kids earlier, right, to high school, and then so they can apply as an American, like, to university. But the same issues exist. The school systems are completely different, the expectations. So we're gonna work on creating a series of webinars that we can sort of partner with different. We just gave a talk at St. John's Prep in Danvers, and they were very interested in how do we educate, again, the families, the parents, the students, and the host families about differences in cultural expectations and help them succeed. So thank you for the questions. We're going to have more Q&A after the movie, so hold those thoughts.